Hey everyone, welcome back to JR Pro Shop Vids. BARKS here with a brand new Theorem Pearl from track. So we're back here at Splitsville in Richmond, BC, Canada. Just finished up league. I'm actually bowling on the lane that I bowled league on. We had 3 lefties on the pair, so they're a little torched up. So we had 3 different shiny bowling balls to throw, all from the track line. This would be the ideal situation to use them. We had a lot of lefty traffic on the lanes today. Fronts are a little bit eaten up. So let's see how these shiny balls stack up against each other. So I started with the ball that I've actually thrown the most out of these 3, which would be the Theorem Hybrid, the original. Certainly a favorite for both tour players and league bowlers alike. A little bit cleaner and a little bit less shape at the end of the pattern for an ASIM hybrid. Certainly a good transition ball when you need a ball that just goes a little bit further down the lane and doesn't change direction too hard. So like I said, this is just after league. We're on a 43-foot challenge pattern. It's about a 4.5 to 1 ratio. Not a whole lot of room for error. And this pattern seems to get a little bit more difficult the further into the lane you get. So starting with that Theorem Hybrid, I played on top of where I finished league. I was throwing an NV Tour, so 2 totally different bowling balls. As you can see, that first shot, just a little bit too much shape off the end of the pattern, a little too far left. It went a little bit high. I need to make a move off of that. So moving right, you can definitely see the ball get through the front part of the lane a little bit easier. I find the Theorem to be a ball that hooks a little bit more in the mid part of the lane and doesn't shape too much off the back. That's the kind of shape that I gravitate towards. For a long time, actually, this ball was sanded. I didn't like it with the shiny finish. I felt it was a little bit more usable. I thought it'd be best to put it back to box finish. You get a better look at how these balls perform at factory spec. So when throwing that Theorem Hybrid, I tried to inch a little bit further right into the pattern, see how far I could go before the ball kind of ran out of gas, didn't quite shape enough at the end of the pattern. So standing with my feet at about 27, you can see this ball gets to the pocket. The majority of the time is actually going to strike and get that 7-pin out. The further right I got off of that, you can see the ball start to labor a little bit. And that's when I know that ball's at its limits. It's time for something that's a little bit cleaner and more responsive. So with that being said, what's more responsive than a hybrid? Well, the Pearl. The Theorem Pearl here. Really nice color scheme. I like how that neon yellow really pops against the blue and the purple here. Really easy to see when that ball really revs up and wants to change direction. So bowling on lane 2 here, the racks can be a little bit funky, and you can see on the shots that went a little bit high, it was an 8-pin every time. I don't mind seeing that with the ball that's supposed to be responsive, because that means the ball is really continuing, it's really shaping down lane. And if you need a ball that recovers off the end of the pattern like that, then this might be the ball for you. So standing on top of where I finished with that Theorem Hybrid, there's still a little bit too much hook down lane with this Theorem Pearl here. I had to continue to move right. I got my feet actually right of 30 and still saw a lot of recovery when I got shots left. That's what I like to see, and I like to be able to create some shape, or it's not shape, some room. I want to be able to create some room at the end of the pattern, and this ball really gives me that, where I felt like I had to be really perfect with the Theorem Hybrid. As you can see with some of these shots, even moving further right into the pattern, the ball shapes a lot down lane. I'm still leaving those 8 pins. I think personally that has more to do with the characteristics of the center. The track area, the kind of built-in friction, is a little bit further in and closer to the head pin here than in most other centers. You find that the more you move into the pattern, the more hook you get. That's what makes this place a little bit tricky. So moving further right, I felt like this ball actually became stronger and it became a little bit too much ball. So at that point, I think it's time to make a ball change to something that gets through the front easier and doesn't shape as much. And for me, that ball is a Stealth Hybrid. Most of the time you think shiny symmetrics, you think balls that get down the lane and really corner hard, and that's not what this is. Now the Stealth Hybrid for me is a ball that gets through the front part of the lane and doesn't change direction too much. It comes off that spot a little bit smoother. For me, I like smooth shapes. I gravitate towards solids, and if I'm gonna incorporate a shiny ball into my bag, I don't want it to be one that really creates that hockey stick at the end of the pattern. So trying to stand in that same spot that I finished with the Theorem Pearl here, you can see it gets down the lane, but it doesn't quite change direction enough. Kind of getting those flat hits, time to move a little bit further to the left, move back to where I started more. And once I moved a little bit left, I found a lot of room out on the lane. I was hitting the pocket at will. One thing you'll find in common with all of these balls is the track is not known for flashy colors. Even the ball like the Theorem Pearl here, really subdued in the color scheme. You're having a blend of darker colors and not really anything that stands out. The Theorem Hybrid with shades of red and the stealthiest of the bunch in black. Track to me has always been more of a performance-oriented brand. It gives you a wide variety of reaction shapes from top to bottom, and it's more about the performance of the ball than the actual looks. That's it for what I saw out on the lanes today. 3 shiny track balls, but 3 very distinct, very different ball reactions. Now for me, I see 3 bowling balls that have completely different uses in different scenarios. That Stealth Hybrid, if you need a ball just to get through the front and really control the back end. I think the Theorem Hybrid is a little bit more shape off the end, and then the most angle is going to be created with this Theorem Pearl. Now, who do I think it's good for? I think it's going to be better for right-handed bowlers on longer patterns. I don't think there's going to be quite enough breakdown in the pattern on the left side to be able to use this on a very consistent basis. You're not going to get much use out of this. So if you're a bowler who's looking for a ball that gets down the lane and really changes direction hard, that Theorem Pearl is going to be great for you. Now, before we wrap this up, it is question time with Barks. I had a really funky leave in league tonight, one that I've never left before. It was the 5-6-9-10. Never left that before. Wasn't sure how to attack it. I ended up throwing a plastic ball at the 5-6 and making it. So I am 1 for 1 on that spare. So my question for you is, what is the weirdest spare leave you've ever left? Let me know down in the comments. I want to know, what are the funky leaves that you guys leave? So one last thing, we do have holidays around the corner. If you're looking for that perfect bowling gift for either yourself or somebody else, head to shop.bufabowling.com, use our promo code JUNGOBARKS, and save 10% off your order. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next vid.